Dr. Professor Luigi, and I'm going to show you how to make an elevator using ProjectRed and Computercraft. Let's just go ahead and get that thing down here. Ah, nice. Very, very stylish. Ooh, isn't this neat? Ah, now on the whole second floor of this completely real building. So, what you guys just saw is a little elevator that I made. So I'm going to show you guys how to make that. It uses the new frame and frame motors that are in red power. So let's go ahead and get that started, shall we? Let's go ahead and build it right here next to this lovely power supply that's just so happened to be there. So I'm going to show you how to make a two-story one, although you can make it as tall as you want with certain limitations and all that, but I'll explain that at the end. For now, two-story. So first you're going to want to dig 3 blocks down. You're going to want to dig 2 like this, and since it's on flat grass, it's on the bedrock. Next, you're going to place 2 frame motors like this, and then make sure that the arrows are pointing at each other. Next, you're going to want to take a black wool cover, place it right there, so it's lined up with that, and then place a frame. And then cover it with 3 black wool, and then go up 4. Oh, come on. No, and I just deleted the first frame. Alright, so now our 4 in there, and let's go ahead and fix that. And then you want to cover all this with black wool covers, or any cover will do. And this will the covers prevent anything from sticking to these frame blocks, because normally they will carry along any block that happens to be there. Alright, and you have to leave this back open, because otherwise these things can't grip it. That's why I need the hole back there. Okay, next you're going to build what will become the floor. So you've got to build a 3x3 little thing. And then I'm still not used to these frames. Alright. And so now this is going to be the back of your elevator, and so this is going to be the front. So next you're going to need to build the walls. And so for each wall you're going to put a little nub, because all these have to be connected, and this will save you frames. And then build the walls. So each wall is also a 3x3 square. And this is the back wall. The frames are a little frustrating because you have to go right in the middle of them. You can't just place them on any side, otherwise you'll look through them. Then this is the left wall when you're looking at the door. And you'll notice that I left these out. You're going to want to put 2 wool blocks there, because those are where the buttons are going to go. And then for the front, because there's a door, you're going to have to extend out like this, and then build up. And then make the top of your door. And so this is the door into the elevator. And then place 1 block here. That'll attach it to that back wall. And then just build the roof. And like I said, as long as it's connected to 1 frame, you're good to go. Come on. Alright, these frames are really frustrating. Alright, so now you're going to want to run a power source. It has to be bluetricity. I mean, I don't know if that's what it's called, but it has to be run from the solar panels, and I'd suggest doing it through a back box so you have a little buffer. And so then you're going to do a little test with these to make sure everything's hooked up right, make sure everything moves as a unit. And it doesn't look like anything got left behind, so we're good to go. So then just move it right on back up. So now you're going to take more of these covers and place them on the bottom so that it doesn't stick to anything that we build underneath it later on. Alright, so now the bottom is all coated. So next you're going to coat the sides and Ah, my mouse keeps spamming out. Alright. And then just coat everything. Alright, so you just want to double check and make sure the entire outside is completely coated. Alright, so I wish my mouse would stop doing that. It's brand new. Alright, and then of course you want to coat the inside completely, but except right here next to the black wool. The cover prevents blocks from sticking to the frames. That's why we're using it on the sides and everything. But you're going to want to use a panel right here, because there are going to be buttons on here. The panels allow you to still hold on to the stuff. And then we'll go ahead and place a panel in the middle there for the light. But everything else in here is going to be a cover. Alright, so now it should be all done. Coated on the inside and out to look all nice and fancy. And also to make sure nothing sticks. So next, we're going to need to do some wiring. What? Why? I need to figure out why my mouse keeps doing that. That's not cool. It's just a week old. Alright, so these are nice little Illumar buttons. And these will be your things to go up and down. Alright, so now we're going to wire out the buttons. So first, you're going to put this on, and remember the red button's attached to this. And so we are going to use, oops. We're going to use red wire for right there. And so now when the button is pushed, this red wire will turn on. Now you're going to want to break the covers right here and replace them with panels. That way, we'll actually just leave them like that. Leave them open. Alright, and then we're going to need to be able to, so then, yeah. And then we're going to need the red alloy wire right there for the green button. And then lime green wire right there and there. And then bundled cable. Not right there. Right there. So now both these wires are going into the bundled cable, and when you press the green button, the lime green wire activates, and when you press the red button, the red wire activates. And then you can surround these in frames by just clicking the middle, but you're not going to surround the bundled cable. And then you want to coat this in a cover so it doesn't stick to anything. Perfect. And then if you want, you can just go ahead and put a cover there too. Not right there. Right there. Alright. If you feel like it. That doesn't even really matter. Alright. So now we have the elevator all wired up. So then you're going to need to run a framed bundled cable. Going all the way down like so. Just one up and the whole way down. So then we are going to need to wire up the frame motors. And this can easily be kept in the footprint of the elevator shaft. And so you're going to want to do is take a NOR gate. This will invert any signal that it gets. So if the signal's on, it'll turn it off, and the signal's off, it'll turn it on. And then take a regular green insulated wire, and then since the green is for up, and this makes it go up, put it right here and here. Take the pink and put it like that. And so now, and then take a timer, put it right there. Take another timer, put it right there. Awesome. Set these timers for 1 second. And it's best to do it in that order, because if you put the timers down first, it'll spaz out. So now the timer, the way it works is if it is being powered, it won't work, and as soon as you unpower it, it'll start working. So if the pink wire is powered, this will be on, and it will continuously tick 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 once per second down, and this way you go up once per second. The reason for the timer is if this is a solid pulse, then it'll only move once, and so the timer makes it so it'll move continuously. Wonderful. That's all we needed for that. So next is the floor detection. So time to build the elevator shaft. I'm only going to build a wall right now. That's all we need. So just go ahead and build. And then right now it's at the top position, so you can go ahead and build the roof there too. And the roof will prevent it from going up too far. Although it doesn't even really matter. I'll explain why in a sec. Alright, now we have our elevator shaft. Sort of. Now the reason we have these pointing at each other is because this will push it up. And if we had the up one on top, it will push it out of reach from the other frame motor. But when it stops pushing up, the down will still be able to pull it down, and vice versa. That way you don't have your elevator out of reach. Great. So why do we do this? Well, you're going to want to break these covers and place a redstone block there. Next, let's go ahead and build another layer here. Right where that redstone block is, break it. And now, put a red alloy wire and a repeater. Now, when the elevator's in this position, it will power the repeater. Take a black insulated wire. Go ahead and cut out a notch here, and I didn't make this high enough. And then run a framed bundled cable there. Next, you're going to want to take a regular bundled cable and run it like so. So now this black cable is into our bundled cable network, if you want to call it. Great. So now you're going to want to go ahead and break this pink insulated wire. There. Now the elevator's all the way down. Put the pink wire back. Find the redstone block again. And go ahead and build the same thing. Red alloy wire, repeater, black insulated wire, bundled cable, notch, bundled cable, framed bundled cable. Now what these do is these detect the stopping point for each elevator, for each floor. So you could just as easily put another one here or up there, wherever you want the elevator to stop, put it in the position and make this little thing and connect it to the red bundle network. Great. So now all that's left is the computer. So go ahead and bust out your nifty computer. We'll go ahead and do an advanced computer, but you can use a regular one if you want. Go to the, looks more pretty if you do it on the inside here. Go ahead and run in a bundled cable like that. Make sure that you place it on this block too so that it actually connects. And you want to run it one more and place down the computer. Now you don't have to make it go through the top. If you want, you can make it go to the side like that, but I like to just make it go through the top. So then boot up your computer. So boot up your computer and type in edit startup. Now you don't have to name it startup, but I do that because every time you load the world, it'll launch the program. So next, it's just a pretty simple program. If and then redstone test bundled input side colors, and then for this one we're going to be testing for the lime cable. If that is true, meaning if it's on, then do this end. And then before we're going to do this, we're going to want to do side equals, for this one it is top. Alright, so now so far all this program does is it'll run, it decides, oh, side is the top, and then it'll say, well, if the bundled cable on the top is lime is on, then do this end. So we're gonna want to make sure this loops, and an easy way to make it loop is to go while true do. And what this does is this makes it so that it'll loop. Then you go on to slap another end, and then that'll close the statement. Now, what do you want it to do when the line cable is on? Well, you're gonna want to make it set bundled cable output, so this will set the output of the computer. Side colors, and now we're going to want to make it to turn on the green wire. Now what this will do is if the lime wire is on, then it'll turn on the green wire. And then we're going to want to go ahead and do sleep for 2 seconds. The reason for that is we want it to stay on for 2 seconds, and then before it starts reading anything else. Then we're done with that. So let's go ahead and drop out of that end statement. Then if redstone set bundled cable output side, wait, whoops, not set, test. If redstone test bundled cable output on the side, which is top, if the color red is on, then set the set the redstone bundled output on the top. The color pink on end. So now what this does is if the red wire is on, turn on the pink wire, and then sleep for 2 seconds. And finally, if the top bundled cable, the wire black is on, if it's on, then make the redstone on the bundled cable at the top 0. That'll turn off everything. End. And then we're going to sleep for a second. So let me just go ahead and explain over this in a more competent way. As I was typing what I was saying, it was kind of lame. So what this does is if you push the lime, if the lime green wire is turned on, i.e. pushing the green button to make you go up, then it'll set the green cable, which is right here, on. That'll start making the elevator go up, and it'll stay on forever, because this doesn't stay on for a little bit, it just goes on forever. And then you didn't push the red button, so then if the black cable's on, the elevator's at its stopping point, then shut everything off. So this will make it so that the elevator will go up until it hits a stopping point, which is that black wire. Or if the red wire turns on, activate the pink wire, make it go down. Now now the reason you make it sleep is because when you push the green button, the black wire is still on. So you want to give the elevator a chance to move. And that's why I have it sleep for 2 seconds. Now the reason you have it sleep for 1 second all the time is that way this code runs once per second. Because after a while, after this code runs a few thousand times, it just turns it off because nothing is happening. So you make it go once per second. That way that lasts longer. Because if a code sits there and runs it without doing anything, the game shuts it off. And so you have it sleep for 1 second because the button will be pushed for 1 second, and so that code will run once per button push, which is all you really need. So we're going to go and save it, and go ahead and run it. So now the program is running, and we should be able to push the green button, and we'll go up. As you see, we'll go up until that black wire is turned on, and it stops. And then you push the red button to go down, and it'll go down until the black wire turns on. So that black wire turning on is what makes it shut off. Now, this has a few extra features involved. So as you can see, instead of this just going straight to the black wire, it also goes down here, and it turns off this torch and opens the door, which is just a basic 2-piston door. Now what that does is it opens the door if the elevator is at the right position. And now these buttons are exactly the same as those buttons. So if I go inside, you can see that all the buttons are hooked into this bundled cable on the outside. And then they go right through here. There's the computer. And then right into the same buttons in the elevator. And now with the buttons on the side, though, you have to have this little divider, because if you don't have this divider, they connect. That's why on the elevator, we don't have the two red things side by side. We have one on top of the button and then one on the side right here. And so as the elevator goes up and down, this cable slides up and down this little track and stays connected to everything. And so if you want to add buttons on the outside, you just run a bundled cable. So to make the elevator go higher, all you got to do is delete this bottom cover, and then we'll just go ahead and turn on the up permanently. And if you take a frame and just keep placing it, this elevator will go up, up. Wait, what? Why isn't it going? Oh, because of this up here. And so if you just keep placing a frame here, this thing will go up all day. It doesn't care, because it doesn't matter. It matters because after a certain point, you won't be able to make enough power. But either way, it's all pretty good. So yeah, you can make this go up as high as you want, as long as you just make a black wire and a repeater for the stopping point. The reason you have to have a repeater is here, I'll make it go up. Frame, whatever. Anyway, if you have this repeater here and it's being powered, if you don't have the repeater there, it'll just power everything, and you don't want that. Alright, so yeah, to make this go up higher, all you have to do is add a repeater to every stopping point and extend this tail to where you need it. And now the reason we have these little notches in the side, and I had you coat those, is because on this design I have a little maintenance chute that goes up the side, and on the other side there's a bluetricity wire that goes all the way up, and because the bat box is inside, and the bluetricity wires goes all the way up the side to the solar panels up above. So yeah, there's the elevator. Hope you guys enjoyed this video.